Good evening, everybody. Right, I've just chaired my first meeting of the Economic Development and Growth Committee. I'm here with Councillor Jeffery and Councillor Hedley. Wave at the camera, Councillor Hedley. It was a very good first meeting, I thought. We had a presentation from the Economic Development team about the work that they do, the engagement with businesses in the borough and how they try and assist business growth and development in the borough. We did, I think the other thing we did was we looked through some proposed activities to support employment and skills coming off the back of the Pathway to Success panel that was set up last year, that came back with a report that had some suggestions for things we should do. One of which we discussed at length this evening, was the setting up of a pop-up shop to create a more sort of non-threatening environment for young people and sort of other people in the borough who are maybe like between jobs and looking to upskill, maybe move from a sort of low-paid 0 hours contract type job to something a bit more sustainable. And just something that's a little bit more informal than the sort of the standard DWP setup. So we voted through that. We're going to try that for a year, see how it goes, and hopefully that will bring some benefits to the borough. And then we also approved a piece of work on looking on how we can support local businesses during and post leaving the European Union, which is obviously going to create a lot of challenges, but also hopefully a lot of opportunities for economic development and growth. So we're going to do a job of work, commission some work on that to look at how we can support businesses through that transition. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty positive meeting. I think it was all unanimous votes, so I think we're all agreed. There's a lot of cross-party support for moving this agenda forward. And it was a very, very positive meeting. Anything to add, gents?
Yes, Andrew, I think it's quite a challenging agenda this evening. Particularly one thing that caught my attention was the work we need to do with both employers and educational establishments, particularly some of our colleges. I was interested to note in one of the reports that there were 90 potential railway apprenticeships, well-paid apprenticeships, and the college was only able to fill 40 of those 90 spaces, and very few of those 40 came from Basildon. And the reason given was that there were insufficient candidates with the right qualifications on leaving school. So I think there's a communication job to be done with the education establishments in the borough to link up with the colleges and the apprenticeships that they can offer in what will be very interesting careers. There's a great deal of work to be done. There was a report on post-Brexit, which stimulated some debate on both sides of the Brexit argument. I felt it was a little bit premature, but as a council we need, I believe, to be very active once the trade deals are set up, and do everything we can as a council to encourage our major employers to stay in Basildon and to access other markets than the EU, but to sustain their existing markets in the EU, because I'm sure there will be opportunities for business going forward, whatever the outcomes of the Brexit negotiations are. I think we're going to have an interesting work programme for next year, but it will, I believe, be linked to training, and particularly apprenticeships, and the opportunities for our young people in the borough finishing education and going into their first employment.
Yeah, I completely agree. George, anything?
Just a tiny bit to add in terms of the communication with schools is that we find it important as a group to communicate to young people, because they'll be the future of our borough, and it's that in the transition of Brexit and how we're going to deal with the change in the needs of our economy here locally or nationally, and hopefully through the Economic Development and Growth Committee we can get to a level where we can meet the needs of business through our education in our schools, either through secondary schools or colleges. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, there you have it, folks. A productive first meeting, but a lot more work to do. Right. Good night.